The insight that you need in your business is what is creating the demand. Where are my buyers actually figuring out that there's something that they need that's called our software? I have 20 submissions that came through our website, qualified buyers saying, hey, I'd love to talk to you about whether my company would be a good fit to work with Refine Labs. And on that forum, we ask, how did you hear about us, with a free text field, and it's required. So anyone that wants to submit that form and book a meeting with us to have a sales conversation will need to pass through that field. As I mentioned, it's not a drop down. What we're finding is that the people that use drop downs sometimes have too many options. And when you have too many options, people get information overload and either pick the first one, the last one, or some random one in the middle. Often that you'll see the top ones in the list. So if you sort it by alphabetical, or some of the people just put Google as the first option, and then what do you know? When you look at the results, Google has the most options. And then what's underneath that? Colleague. And what has the second most votes? Colleague. How the options are ordered, you get biased answers, and it's super limiting. And I'm going to talk through why, because with the dropdown, what do you get? You get social media. And then if you had a free text field, what do you get? Dave Gerhardt told me to follow Chris Walker on LinkedIn, so I started following, then I started listening to the podcast, and now I'm here converting. Big difference. Let's go through it. I'm going to rattle off 20 of these submissions. These are real submissions that made it to a high intent revenue opportunity in our pipeline, which is what we call a qualified opportunity. And at the moment, we win these opportunities at 29%. The customer says, my network, LinkedIn, of course, State of Demand Gen podcast, I'm a Chris Walker fanboy, Revenue Collective, Forbes article, Pavilion, Dave Gerhardt. Attribution software says organic search, offline sources, direct traffic, organic social. These weren't cherry picked either. This is pretty much across the board what we're getting. So what are some of the things that we noticed here? One, what the customer tells us is almost always different than what the attribution software says. We've been through this at lengths. Attribution software is going to tell you what captured the demand, but the insight that you need in your business is what is creating the demand. Where are my buyers actually figuring out that there's something that they need that's called our software? That's the piece that most people are missing. The second piece is, look at the insights on here. We know exactly who's referring us business to the exact people. We know exactly what communities it's coming from. Some of our customers are getting in this stuff. They're getting the exact subreddit links of where our ads are being placed that are driving people into their forums. We're getting a very clear picture of the podcast, and LinkedIn seems to be working. Gives us a lot of confidence to keep doing what we're doing. And there's a pretty good spread. So some people are like, oh, the enterprise doesn't buy this way. I mentioned quite a few companies with more than 1,000 employees where they came through. Like, let's pull out a couple. VP Marketing, 1,000 employees. Podcast, 5,000 employees coming from the podcast. Enterprise companies don't go inbound. We need ABM software. We need to go outbound. Just got to think about how you go to market differently.